Highlights.
He did work on highlights. We had a ton of highlights playing on those teams. We had a ton of highlights.
I hired 2 guys from, I guess, was 2 bombers.
It's not that period. It's definitely not a dead period. He can always take a phone call. Even in the middle of the dead period, he can take a phone call.
Let's see if I text him.
Even in a dead period, the coaches can't. You have like the dead period for recruiting, which for soccer is might be the quiet period, but then which wait a minute, no, in the summer they can go out and watch players and they can do everything else.
Yeah. But yeah, it's only underclassmen in high school.
Welcome to beautiful Lakeland, Florida, this warm May evening. I'm your commentator, Mark Turner, for this UPSL Florida Western Division clash between hosts Lakeland United and visitors Clearwater Chargers Soccer Club.
With a freshman or sophomore.
It is a beautiful yet balmy evening in Lakeland this evening. Temperatures in the 80s. Hopefully as the evening rolls on, things might get a little cooler. Otherwise it's going to get pretty sweaty for the players out there. This is promising to be a tightly contested event with these two teams side by side in the league tables right now. Hosts Lakeland currently sit in 6th in the table. Chargers just one spot below in 7th place. The Chargers having played 2 games more as well, 8 games in total. In fact, this evening's match represents the Chargers' last game of the season. Lakeland, though, have 2 more games after this one, so have an opportunity to work their way up the table. Those of you who've been on this channel most of the afternoon will know that the Lakeland Division 1 team had a narrow defeat in the game immediately prior to this one, losing 3-2 to Royal Palms. Very exciting game. Lakeland scoring their second goal very late on, hoping to perhaps snatch a point in that contest. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. And the travelling Royal Palms left that contest with all 3 points. So again, these two teams very equally matched. Just 1 position separates them in the league. A win for either team this evening could see them eke up an additional place. Of course, Lakeland have a bit more runway with 3 matches remaining. Again, this being the Chargers' last match of the season. They'll just be looking to avoid the wooden spoon this year, not wanting to be the basement team in the Florida Western Division. Lakeland, though, assuming they can put a run of results together, will be hoping to make a playoff push in the latter part of the season. Well, as much as I love playing the game, this is one of those instances where I'd rather be commentating. The ideas of running around in 83, 84 degree heat doesn't particularly excite me, but then I suppose the accent might give me away. You have a pasty white Englishman here, and I'm not particularly predisposed to these temperatures. So again, the commentary box is a more favourable position for me this evening. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the match this evening, and hopefully we'll have a few goals. And at the very least, some excellent soccer entertainment. Getting ready to kick off here in Lakeland, Florida.
Start withholding food. No win, no food.
At the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex, nestled between Tampa and Orlando, for those of you who know your geography. Referee just checking with both teams, checking with his officials, and we're off to the races. Lakeland kicking us off. Just looking to possess the ball a little bit, get into their stride. It's always nice when you give as many teammates as possible touches on the ball as early as possible. Get everyone settled down, comfortable in the rhythm of the game. Even going back to the goalkeeper. Should be an interesting match, a real contrast of styles this evening. Lakeland very heavily influenced by all things Brazilian, both in the coaching staff and on the roster. Starting lineup for Lakeland this evening. And Lakeland just trying to create something here, so we'll just take a moment to hold off on the roster and instead watch the play develop down the left-hand side. Great work around the defender, looking to cut the ball back. Excellent recovery from the defender, though. Really nice work from Asuka, but he wasn't able to deliver that deadly ball into the box. He had teammates crashing penalty box, looking to get on the end of something, but good recovery work. The Chargers defence. It does result in a Lakeland corner, our first of the match. It's a short corner. Lakeland looking to change the angle. Quality of the delivery not quite there though, and the Chargers able to mop up and bring the ball away, and I think we have our first foul of the match. Yes, we do. Wasn't quite sure there whether the referee had put the whistle to his mouth. It looked like he hesitated for a moment, but in the end, the Chargers do earn the first foul of the match. Going back to the Lakeland roster, as I mentioned, very heavily influenced by all things Brazilian. The starting 11 actually contain, was it 5, 7, 8, 9 Brazilians in the starting lineup? 8, in fact. And then the 3 remaining spots taken up by the 3 Japanese players. Oh, the aforementioned Asuka, Hiroko in defence, and Ryo out on the other wing, opposite wing to Asuka. So a nice peppy start from Lakeland, again earning that first corner, probing, trying to find their way through the centre of the Chargers defence. You know, it had an infringement there just a few moments earlier. It looked like maybe Lakeland were going to break away, but the referee pulled the play back for an infringement. It's all Lakeland right now. This time building down the right-hand side. Excellent work, turning the ball back inside to the centre. Looking for a shooting opportunity. Well, there was an opportunity, but unfortunately Brazilian Gustavo didn't get over the ball. Trying to generate the power, and as he did so, you can see he leant back just a touch, didn't have his knee fully over the ball, and that caused the ball to carry over the crossbar. A relieved Chargers goalkeeper, happy to see that one sailing away to safety. Like I said, it's all Lakeland right now. Good start from the hosts. Oh, they're giving the ball away there though. The Chargers could look to break, but fortunately there's cover in the defence, and Lakeland are able to tidy things up and begin building out the back again. Trying to set Asuka off down the left wing. Good recovery from the Chargers defence. Good patient work once more from Lakeland. Again, looking to build down what appears to be their favoured left-hand side. Excellent feet from Asuka. Nice chip into the box. And it's almost converted, blocked by the defense, but it comes back to Lakeland again. There's some fantastic juggling. What a phenomenal finish by Yuri Vasconcelos. Well, I said this team was influenced by all things Brazilian. That right there was a definition of Brazilian. I want to see that one back again, not to commentate on it, just to admire it. Again, some really good work down the left-hand side between Rock and Asuka. Excellent delivery from Rock into the back post. It looked like the chance had disappeared. And then when the defense looked to clear it, it was gathered up. Oh my goodness. How pretty was that by Yuri Vasconcelos. He then proceeded to juggle the ball a couple of times before spinning and volleying it into the roof of the net, giving Chargers goalkeeper absolutely no chance whatsoever, especially from that range. I mentioned earlier, we saw the shot come in from Gustavo, and I mentioned he leapt back, didn't get his knee over it. Well, Yuri Vasconcelos got his knee over that one and then some. Wonderful technique. You know, if you're watching this and you have kids, go grab them at halftime. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that goal. They have to see that. I mean, that is the definition of technique. And Lakeland lead 1-0, very early doors, just 5 minutes in. Right now, this is looking like a one-way show. And again, breaking down the left-hand side, it's Gustavo Oliveira. Crosses it into the back post, goes a little deep. Going to have to be gathered by Lakeland and maybe recycled. Well, it was gathered, but the recycling didn't happen. And now the Chargers are looking to break away on the counter. I'm sure they're a little shell-shocked at this point. They've seen so little possession. And then what was essentially Lakeland's... Oh, look at this. Production team giving me another replay. God bless them. You know, one thing I hadn't noticed when I first saw that goal was the air on it from Yuri was actually generated by Yuri. I thought perhaps taking a ball that was bouncing around and then improvised and did the best he could, but no, the ball was actually on the ground. He chipped it up for himself. A couple of little chips followed, and then of course that beautiful spin and volley into the roof of the net. Really fantastic goal at any level, but not the sort of thing you see every day. You're in the NPSL. Production team, feel free to continue showing me that replay. I will never tire of it. Hopefully we'll see it another couple of times at halftime. Maybe we'll have a few other goals to accompany it by then as well. But at this point in time, you'd have to imagine those goals are going to be Lakeland's. They're looking absolutely dominant in possession. As I mentioned earlier, the Chargers are probably a little shell-shocked. But they do need to get a grip on this game. They need to try and find some way to impose themselves. You know, I've dabbled with a little coaching myself, and one of the things I tell players I work with when they're struggling to get in the game is you need to get physical, you need to get touch tight to the opposition. And if things just aren't working for you, passes need to be a little easier and your tackles need to be a little harder. You know, you need to let the opposition know you're there and get stuck in. As far as like passing is concerned, just keep it simple. Just as Lakeland are doing right now. Just connect those passes, don't force it. Keep possession, draw the opposition out. Spaces and opportunity will present themselves. Right now, it's all Lakeland. They are giving a masterclass in how to possess the ball, how to move off the ball. Again, leading to space down the left-hand side. Patience might pay off. A little heavy, I was about to say heavy-handed, I suppose it's heavy-footed there. Kaneda Asuka. Knocking the ball out of play. So I do apologise if you don't hear me calling out Chargers names quite as often as I'm able to Lakeland United players' names. I don't know that I have a complete starting roster here for the Chargers, so if you are listening and you are a Chargers fan or a Lakeland fan, or you're a neutral who's just interested to know who's doing what, again, I do apologise. I'm not able to give you that level of detail on the Chargers players. I try and do the best I can with Lakeland, though. We have a full roster and a full bench here in front of me, so shouldn't be an issue. Another break down the left-hand side. Again, seems to be a favoured strategy for Lakeland. This time it was goal scorer Yuri Vasconcelos trying to make hay down the left-hand side. Didn't quite work out for him.
Gabriel, depois senta no de cima, por causa do negócio do tripé só.
So these two teams, geographically, not too far apart. A little under 60 miles separate them. So it's about an hour's drive. Clearwater to make their way out to Lakeland. Both teams located in what you consider to be central Florida, although Clearwater are out on the Gulf side of Florida. They're actually on the coast. So it certainly makes sense for them to be in the Florida West Division. Always a little confusing to me when I think of Lakeland being in the Florida West Division as opposed to the Central Division. I suppose strictly speaking they're kind of both. So in order to balance out the leagues, Western Division is where they find themselves. But again, two teams very close to one another. I'm sure the organisations know each other well. The players probably know each other quite well as well. I imagine that some of them came through the same school system, perhaps the same college system. Although it's a pretty international look out here. I've commented a couple of times on the heavy Brazilian makeup that we see with Lakeland. I think I also mentioned as well they have 3 Japanese players in their starting lineup. Chargers, though, also have players from several different continents being represented here. I noticed that they even have a player on their roster from India, and that's not especially common. You don't see too many Indian players playing soccer really at any level. Certainly back in my homeland in England, or even here in the US. So that's really good to see. Really good, wide, diverse range of players from all over the place looking to make their way in the game here in the US. The Chargers now enjoying a spell of uncommon possession for them. Actually in the attacking, the Lakeland defensive third, they're attacking third. But that switch ball leads to nothing and will give possession right back to Lakeland. Lakeland now working the ball down the right hand side, playing it inside to the goal scorer Yuri, who does a really nice job of carrying it, and as he's falling, playing it back to a teammate. He's now asking for it back, but instead ball gets tucked inside. It's Gustavo who looks to try and regain it, pops under his foot. It's the ball back to the Chargers. I'm not sure they're going to hold on to it for too long though. Lakeland are pressing high and hard. Doing a really good job of pressing en masse as a unit. Excellent work. And the right hand side there from Lakeland right winger, which I think is Rayo. Yeah, it is. Caro Rayo. Very industrious. Making sure that Chargers weren't able to advance. Momentarily though, giving possession to the Chargers, and then Lakeland win it right back. Which really has been a dominating performance from Lakeland in the first 13 minutes of this match. Very, very impressive. Again, and particularly when you consider that only one space separate these two teams. As I mentioned earlier, Lakeland currently sitting in 6th in the Florida Western Division. Chargers on 7th. But again, as I mentioned earlier, they have played 2 games more, and that's a mistake at the back from Enrique. Fortunately for him, he's able to gather the ball back up. Could have been very ugly indeed, and could have let Chargers back into this match when they have nary seen the other end of the field. Enrique, though, recovering, gathering the ball. Now the Chargers burn themselves a free kick. It's fairly straightforward. A little bit of a clumsy challenge. I think that was Rock. Clattered into a Chargers attacker. Now we have 3 Chargers players stood over the ball. conspiratorially, trying to decide who does what. Maybe a straight arrow shot. We may have some sort of a play here where players run over the ball and try and provide distraction. Either way, the Chargers would do well to get something on frame just for their own confidence. Oh, no, I think there's a definition of commentator's curse. Not only was that not on frame, that wasn't anywhere near frame. It seemed like kicker was perhaps in two minds. It looked like maybe he was trying to chip it over the defense for a player to run onto. And he hit it with such force, there was no way it was coming down in time. And so it was neither a pass nor a shot. Enrique coming out to support. Can try and flick the ball out to the left-hand side. Does a really nice chop. This is a great example of building out the back from Lakeland until the Chargers are able to intercept. Try and begin building a play of their own. Good work from the right-hand side. The Chargers trying to build out. Number 6, sliding the ball to a teammate. Number 3, I think number 6 actually is one of the players we do have on this partial roster. I think that was Harthy, midfielder for the Chargers, doing a nice job of sliding the ball into the open channel there for number 3. Don't have his name, unfortunately, but he is now taking the corner. Great corner too, really drops it into the danger zone. Lots of bodies going up for it. The Chargers not able to direct it on goal, but they are able to gather it back up, and this could be something dangerous. Good shot from the Chargers, just wide. Made Enrique dive for it. Didn't look too desperate in his dive. Perhaps he felt like it was going safely wide. That to me looked awfully close though. Or maybe it was a little further wide than I first thought. Certainly Enrique, though he dived, didn't seem too concerned by it, but that's good for the Chargers. That will give them a little confidence. They were able to recirculate the ball off the corner. That'll make them believe they're in this game and that Lakeland are vulnerable. Chargers now. Bringing the ball through the middle of the field, laying it out to the right-hand side. That's going to be too heavy and ask too much. The Chargers forward. Lakeland building out the left-hand side. Nice run down the left-hand side from Rock. Tucks the ball inside, looks to go for the return. Ball's played in behind him. Rather frustratingly for Rock. So I'm going to work here on getting you a bit more of a detailed roster for the Chargers so we can give those young men their props. Trying to assign some names to numbers here. Should be able to do that for you here in the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, the Chargers bringing the ball through centre mid. Nice ball over the top, but quite clearly offside. Chargers forward, just breaking away too early. Combination of that and Lakeland doing a really nice job springing that offside trap. Very disciplined line, enabling them to catch out the Chargers forward relatively easily. I do like seeing Lakeland build out the back here. They do a really nice job of laying the ball back to Enrique in goal and drawing the Chargers upfield and then creating the space in behind them, as we're seeing here. Another opportunity across the goal. It's going to find its way in. Not the prettiest goal. Certainly nothing to match up to the first one, but Lakeland won't care. Excellent work from Kaneda Yusuka, setting up his Japanese colleague Hara Ryo, number 9. Who I think bundled the ball over the line. Maybe didn't know too much about it, just tried to get something on it. Yeah, it looked like perhaps it clipped his heels. May even be an own goal. But you know, when you get behind the defence and you put a dangerous ball into a dangerous area like that, good things can happen, and they did. For Lakeland United, who extend their lead to 2-0 over the Chargers. This goal, just shy of 20 minutes, scored by Japanese forward Ryu, number 9.
Yeah, he said.
A goal really came about from the work Lakeland did, playing out the back, as I mentioned earlier, using Enrique in goal really effectively to draw the Chargers upfield and create space in behind them. When you're playing against teams that have particularly fast players on the outside, it can be devastating if you leave the kind of space that the Chargers did. It's just inviting danger, and Lakeland on that occasion making the most of it. That does seem to be a favoured strategy for Lakeland. They do play the ball nicely through the middle, but as quickly as they possibly can, as we're seeing here, they look to try and get the ball out wide into space, give those pacey forwards something to run at. But again, when it's not on, when the opportunity isn't there, rather than trying to force it, Lakeland do a really good job as well of laying the ball back and then recycling. On this occasion, though, they're getting caught out, and the Chargers now on a counter-attack, looking to break quickly. Enrique off his line. I think perhaps it was a Chargers forward trying to be a little opportunistic. He was picking his head up, trying to be a little opportunistic there, maybe trying to chip Enrique. Fortunately for him, and luckily for the Brazilian goalkeeper, didn't get that right, and so the ball harmlessly out of play. You know, the Chargers do have teeth, though. We've seen that on a couple of occasions now. They can spring a counter. They can find spaces and move the ball well through the Lakeland midfield. Their issue has been that final ball, that final decision. A lot of what they've tried to play out wide has gone, it's been heavy, and so has gone out of bounds. This good shot we saw earlier off the recycled corner, you know, unfortunately wide, and of course the free kick. It's, I think it was more of a that was more of a concern to birds overhead than it was to the goalkeeper between the pipes. Like I said, the Chargers have shown they've got teeth, they've got something about them. And in a 2-goal game, common wisdom is the next goal is the most important. 2-0 is generally considered to be the most dangerous lead in football. The Chargers were to score the next game. It could make a really interesting contest of it. So Lakeland will be eager to score that 3rd goal if possible. Ideally, I'd imagine before halftime. Right now, though, the Swans looking dominant. Lakeland United with a 2-goal lead within 20 minutes. Referee giving a fairly straightforward free kick there. There's a little bit of grabbing going on. Yeah. Chargers did win the ball back, but unfairly. Johnny on the spot. Our official in green did a nice job of pulling that up quickly. Nice feet from Lakeland. Really good feet there from Gustavo Oliveira. You know, the Lakeland have been a little suspect down that right wing. They do a nice job of getting the ball out there, but they certainly don't possess the ball as well as they've done on the left-hand side of the field. That's something I imagine the Lakeland coaching team, headed up by Eric Lite, again Brazilian coach, are going to want to address at halftime. It looks like we have I would suspect a water break here, again given that the temperatures are in the 80s. It was 83 degrees at kickoff. We have a water break midway through the first half, which will give coach Eric Lite an opportunity maybe to address some of the sloppiness down the right-hand side for Lakeland United. It'll also give CCSC coach Ryan Seidel a chance to address, well, any number of different things. Chargers are in this game, but it's very spotty. They're struggling to build a head of steam. They're struggling to maintain possession for any period of time. And that's something that Coach Seidel, I'm sure, is going to want to address. Both these coaches actually have pretty strong pedigree. Lakeland United's coach, Liti, is a former ace assistant at the University of South Florida in the women's program, which folks in Florida will know is a very strong program. And so Lakeland's coach has great experience coming through the college system there in a coaching capacity. And then Coach Seidel, for the Chargers, actually had 2 stints with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And I think one of those was a front office role, and the other was on the coaching team. I believe he was one of the assistant coaches. So again, 2 coaches with good pedigree who are presently sharing their wisdom with their respective teams. Lakeland United, as I mentioned earlier, 2 goals to the good within 20 minutes. The first scored in the first 5 minutes by Yuri Vasconcelos, which again, can't see that goal enough. Hoping to see it again at halftime. Putting a plea into our production team. Everyone, it may even be coming right now. These guys are fantastic. I'm not even going to talk through this one, just watch and enjoy. Absolutely phenomenal technique. And the Brazilian coach enjoyed seeing that from one of his Brazilian players. Wonderful. Again, I draw your attention. Oh, here we have the second goal. Excellent. From Ryu, number 9. Some excellent work down the left-hand side from Kaneda Asuka. Asuka is, actually for me at least, has been one of the standouts in the game so far. He does such a good job exploiting the space in behind the Chargers' defense. And then he is straight line rapid. If you're a recovering defender, that's really difficult, particularly once he's in the box, because then you know any contact for a player with that kind of pace is likely to send him to the floor and send the official to the spot for a penalty kick. So Asuka, I think, has been definitely a high spot in his first 20-25 minutes. The overall high spot, it has to be that wonderful opening goal from Yuri Vasconcelos. Lakeland United looking pretty comfortable right now. As I mentioned before that water break, the Chargers really need to try and find a way to force themselves back into this game. These couple of bright spots we've seen to them, they need to become more than bright spots. They need bigger patches of brightness, extended periods of brightness. Something that will give them encouragement that they can really get a foothold in this game. Because right now they are being dominated by Lakeland United, and not just on the scoreboard, in terms of possession and just overall quality. Good work there, though, from the Chargers, breaking up. Promising play from Lakeland. Now looking to try and hit the Lakeland United defence on the counter-attack. They're getting back in numbers, doing a really good job bringing back midfielders to try and cover the threat. The Chargers will have an opportunity here. They have numbers over just outside the box. But you know, when you have numbers over just outside the box, you've got to get shots on frame. If you can't get any closer, if the box is too congested, you've got to at least get shots on frame. And again, I think this is the 3rd instance we've seen the Chargers have an opportunity from distance really send the ball wildly out of play. Got to see better quality with that final ball. So let's see if Lakeland can do something down the right-hand side, as I mentioned earlier. Quality down the right, not quite what it's been down the left. And once again, and to be fair to Lakeland United, I don't know if it's so much that their quality down the right hasn't been as good. It may just be that the Chargers have a stronger defender on the left-hand side. Certainly the left fullback and the left centre-back, they seem to be closer. They seem to be on the right-hand side of their defence. So it could just be that Chargers pose a bit more of a defensive challenge down the right-hand side for Lakeland United. Chargers left-hand side. Either way, Chargers now looking to break down the right wing. A little bit of juggling. Chargers number 6, as we established earlier, is Harthy. a pretty talented player, technically. Has flashes, has moments of inspiration, nothing that they've been able to convert into a really dangerous opportunity or a chance on goal yet. Chargers again looking to break here on a counter, which seems to be their MO right now. They're not able to possess the ball for any period of time, and so they're just looking for those opportunities to spring quickly. The one thing I'll say about Lakeland United, though, is look how quickly they've got men back. So as quickly as the Chargers break, Lakeland United get back en masse and make it very difficult for the Chargers to find any space in their attacking third. Lakeland now looking to break themselves through the middle. Nice work from Gustavo Oliveira, trying to find Suka. Look at this high press from Lakeland United. You know, when they high press like that, when any team high presses like that, typically there's a trigger the coach has worked with them on, and once that trigger is set, all players know to push together. You don't want players pushing individually, because then the opposition have the potential to play around them. But when they push en masse like that, as Lakeland United just did, it's so effective. It essentially creates a wall that your opposition have to play around, as opposed to having to work their way around an individual player. And Lakeland does such a good job of that, making it so hard for the Chargers to possess the ball and to work the ball out of their defence, which I think is why they're just going long. They're having to spring quickly, trying to hit Lakeland on the counter. Now Lakeland looking to build down the right-hand side. This is really the first time we've seen them be dangerous down that right wing. But again, I think perhaps I'm not doing full service to particularly the left back for the Chargers, who does a nice job of tidying things up. Certainly doesn't seem to get caught out quite as readily as his counterpart in the right back position. Nice composed play from Lakeland. I really am impressed with how composed the Swans are on the ball. Gustavo trying to pick his way through. Sidestep to first man, gets fouled by the second, and earns himself a free kick. In a very dangerous position. This is probably about 27, 28 yards out maybe. Perhaps a touch more even. So it's going to require something special to beat the Chargers goalkeeper. We've seen quality from Lakeland already, so I wouldn't put it past them. The key here is, though, get something on frame. Make the keeper work. Try and hit the woodwork. Give your teammates who will be crashing the box something to gobble up if the ball doesn't find its way into the back of the net on this first shot. Oh, that was awfully close. Nice hit from Gustavo Oliveira. Well, I said get the ball on frame, but I don't hate that. That was a good free kick. That flashed just narrowly over that top left-hand corner. If that had dropped just another, I don't know, another 6 inches or so, essentially could have clipped the inside of that bar and been back of the net, and there would be nothing the Chargers goalkeeper could have done with that. Good look from Gustavo. So, a little over halfway into the game, half an hour into this first half. Lakeland United retain their 2-0 advantage. Goal in the 5th minute from Yuri, and in the 20th minute by Rayo. Lakeland have created some other opportunities as well, as have the Chargers. But there's no denying that Lakeland's quality in their attacking third has just simply been much better than the Chargers. And they've had rare forays into Lakeland's defensive area. And I'm not sure what the Chargers can do about that. You know, when you're playing against a team who just technically are stronger than you, all you can do is hustle. All you can do is keep your shape and be disciplined. You can't suddenly increase your technical ability at the flick of a switch. So the Chargers are just going to have to work for everything today. And if they can get themselves a goal, get themselves a toehold, get back into this game, then you never know. Like I said earlier, 2-0, it is generally considered to be the most dangerous lead in soccer. So you never know. But Chargers certainly need to do better in terms of quality when they're in that attacking third. Oh, Gustavo being chopped to the ground there unceremoniously. It was physicality to the max, but it was also a little frustration as well. It was an overreach. And to be fair, there was nothing malicious in it. It was an overreach by Harthy. I think it was 2 parts overly physical and 1 part frustration. Either way, it results in a yellow card, our first of the game for Harthy. And possession once more for the Swans. Work from Rock. Tucks the ball in behind. Oh, good grief! How did that not end up in the back of the net? I mean, I thought perhaps it was going to be offside, which is why I held my commentary, and that's why it wasn't. Because it hit a defender on the way through. But unfortunately, I think it was Asuka who had slipped in behind the defence, and it looked to all the world like a goal was a certainty. Instead, good work from the Chargers goalkeeper, who came out quickly and spread himself, deflecting the shot away for a corner. Lakeland United deliver. It's a low, flat corner that gets turned away by the Chargers, who now will be looking to spring something quickly. Won't be surprised here to see a long ball out of the defence. They don't do that, and Lakeland gobble the ball up. Again, the Chargers' decision-making is found wanting once more. You know, in this situation, they had runners out on the right-hand side. Drop the ball into the channel. It may not be the perfect ball. It's not going to be defeat. It's going to ask your wingers to do some work. But what it's also going to do is release the pressure on you. Because if you get tackled in that area of the field, which is kind of the cross line between your defensive third and the central third, you're immediately under pressure. So not only does the opportunity to attack go, then you're on your heels defensively. The Chargers just need to make better decisions. There's a good example. That was good look, a good early through ball. Nice defensive work from Zhao, though, mopping things up at the back. But I like that from the Chargers. Got to play quicker. The Chargers player who looks to be carrying a knock. I'd like to see that. Hopefully it's something he can walk off. Referee asking for the ball. We may have a drop ball situation here. I'm not exactly sure how play was called. I don't know whether or not if it's the referee saw the injury or there was an infringement. It looked as though there was an infringement, in which case, traditionally here, the ref will drop the ball to the team that were in possession at stoppage, and the team will play the ball back to the opposition. Well, that's not what happened here. Okay, well, that suggests there probably was an infringement then. Generally speaking, in an act of good sportsmanship, you play the ball back to the other team. Whatever happened, everyone is confused as I am. I'm glad I'm not alone in this. The players seem just as confused as I am. Yeah, maybe there was substitution taking place, I think. No, maybe it was just a substitution for the Chargers. The injury. We'll try and get some clarification on that for you. Either way, for right now, let's just focus on the game. Swans again looking to build. On the right-hand side, now back through the middle to Captain Edu. He's had a fairly quiet half. It's Asuka now, who's had anything but. Back to Edu. Give us the ball up. Edu typically plays in a bit more of a defensive midfield role. Americans like to call that role the quarterback. And he tends to spray things around from out of the back of the field, but I think because Lakeland have been so dominating and had the ball so high up the field for so long of the game, Edu really hasn't seen much of the ball.
Yeah. Somebody off.
The same player.
Got the yellow card for that. Well, no, it was number 40 that ran off. They came off. And then 5 came on and just ran onto the field.
You know, this is a particularly impressive performance from Lakeland United when you consider, good grief, great work again. Yuri, scorer of the absolute worldie, he went on a Messi-esque run there, taking 3 Chargers defenders out. He slalomed his way through the defense. Fortunately, he wasn't able to get his head up and find a teammate. That could have developed into something special as well. Yeah, the Swans are missing both of their top goal scorers. And I'm using air quotes when I say that, in that both players, João Rosito and João Almeida, only have 2 goals apiece, which isn't, a huge tally. But nonetheless, they do lead the goal-scoring charts for the Swans. And Almeida does feature this evening, but Rosito doesn't. So they're missing some offensive potency. Almeida actually is a defender, so I haven't seen the Swans play this season yet, so I'm not sure if Almeida's goals came from open play or from dead balls, but more often than not when defenders score, typically it's off of corners and the like. That's a great ball over the top to Asuka once more. He needs to pick his head up and find a teammate. Oh my heavens, that should have been 3. That should have been 3, and Rock knows it. Just another example of Asuka. Look at that straight line speed. Drops the ball into Rock. All he has to do is hit frame. I mean, there were bodies in front, but even then, you hit a body on the way through, you may end up with a deflected goal. Either way, you end up with a goal, and Lakeland United end up 3 goals to the good. And absolutely should have been another tally. You know, if I am Ryan Seidel, the Chargers coach, I am really frustrated with my left back, but I also probably have some degree of sympathy for him as well, because trying to play up against Kaneda Asuka, well, it's not a job I'd want, particularly in 80+ degree heat. Oh, his work out there on the right hand side. One of the Lakeland defenders trying to keep the ball in, a little bit of juggling. The circus-ry for you there, but didn't keep the ball in play. And the Chargers were able to take possession momentarily because, hey, guess what? Lakeland United had the ball again. So we enter the last 3 minutes of the half. Lakeland United looking very comfortable. They've had a couple of moments of concern where the Chargers have gotten sight on goal but haven't been really able to put the ball on frame yet. Not a single shot on target from the Chargers in this first half as of yet. Lakeland United, well, it looks to be a case of when and not if they're going to score again. Put some pressure on the defence there, asking a lot of João Almeida. And the Chargers do a really good job of pressing as a team, playing the ball down the right-hand side. Now, can we get a good delivery and a good finish? Excellent defending. Asuka getting back to defend. Is there nothing that this young man can't do? Although, coughed up too easily there. Chargers looking to break in. Could there be a penalty? There is, I think. And there's going to be a yellow card as well, it looks like. Yes, we do have a penalty. I'd like to see that one again. I wasn't entirely sure there was contact there. You know, it's always in dispute. If there is contact, is there enough contact to really warrant going down? And our production team just showing this penalty quickly. I would have missed the penalty in the process, but let's take another look. Well, it looked to me like the player slipped. Maybe he had his standing leg clipped. Again, love to see that one more time at half-time. Let's watch the penalty kick for now. See if Enrique can keep his clean sheet, or if the Chargers are going to get the most unlikely toehold in this match. Potentially going in at half-time Just a single goal dividing the two teams, despite Lakeland United's dominance of this first period. Here we go. Chargers versus Enrique. And the Swans' goal. Enrique gets a save and the follow-up! What a fantastic save from the Brazilian goalkeeper. The referee's not happy with something. Oh no, he's pulling it back because Enrique was injured. And that brave second save. Wonderful reflex save on the first shot. The ball, though, squirmed out. And in the follow-up, he and a Chargers striker came together. We're going to see it here now in the replay. Brave goalkeeping from Enrique. You know, they say as a goalkeeper, best thing to do is just choose which way you're going to go and commit to it. And Enrique did that. I don't know if he read the eyes, if he read the body shape, or if it was just his best guess, but he picked the corner and he committed to it, made a fantastic first save, a courageous second. I think that's going to be the last act of the first half. I'd love to get another look at the PK, what led to the PK, to see whether or not it really was a penalty kick. I suppose it doesn't matter at this point. PK was taken, PK was saved. Not 100% though that it was a penalty kick. And if you don't think it was a penalty kick either, well, then you could argue that justice was served. Great save from Enrique, sending Lakeland United in 2-0 to the good with goals in the first 5 minutes from Yuri and on the 20-minute mark from Rayo. A dominating performance from the Swans. The visiting Chargers need to do something a little different in the second half. They're going to find their way back into the match. We're going to take a quick break and we'll see you again in the second half. Enjoy the highlights here at the first half. United and the visiting Clearwater Chargers. Lakeland 2-0 up at half-time after a dominant first half performance. Although they could have gone in at half-time, just one goal to the good. Chargers earning a late penalty kick. It was heroically saved twice, no less, by Lakeland United goalkeeper Enrique. And I apologise in the first half, I didn't have a full roster for the Chargers. That's something that looks more akin to it now, so I hope to be able to at least give name checks to some of the players here throughout the second half, of course, till substitutions start to happen. The most challenging thing for a commentator, juggling subs. I think the penalty kick taker for the Chargers was number 32, Harthy, the Armenian player. I apologise if that's wrong. I'll double check that as we move through the half. But either way, penalty kick dispatched. Enrique equal to it, both the initial save and the follow-up, ensuring that Lakeland continue to have that 2-goal cushion. Chargers are going to need to find a way, though, to possess the ball, or at least if they look to spring quickly, make more of the final ball. We struggled with that the whole first half. There were flashes, there were moments, inspiration, but generally speaking, Lakeland United smothered them. Swans doing an excellent job in offence, particularly on the left wing, Kaneda Asuka, who was so dangerous throughout the half, and of course the wonderful Yuri Vasconcelos with that absolute worldie, which I'm sure we're going to see again at the end of the match. The production team seems to like that goal as much as I did. Good header down, early foray into the attack from Lakeland United. It looked fairly innocuous when the ball got fed out to the right-hand side. It looked for a moment like Lakeland might bide their time, maybe look to slip the ball back into the middle. Instead, it was an early cross delivered to the back post, headed down into a dangerous area. But the Chargers goalkeeper, O'Loughlin, wise to it. And now we have the Chargers attacking at the other end. The ball does fall to Harthy. Excuse me, to Gill. My apologies. And actually, Gill, I think, is the young man who took the penalty kick. I was getting my Harthys and my Gills confused there. It wasn't the Armenian player. I think the penalty kick was taken by the Venezuelan player, Gill, number 32, who raced in behind the Lakeland United defence just moments ago. Not able, though, to make the most of that opportunity. So, a frenetic and exciting start we've had. Opportunities at both ends within the first minute and a half. This is the kind of soccer we want to see. If the Chargers can do more of this, if they can go toe-to-toe with the Swans in the second half, we may have a game on our hands. Good ball down the right-hand side, looking to pick out Rayo. Delivered that cross early, moments ago. This time he does take his time, though. Drills the ball across the face of the goal. Lakeland equal to it, palming it away. I mean, Lakeland to throw in the process. As I mentioned earlier, this is the Chargers' last game of the season. Not going to want to end their season with a whimper. They're going to want to finish this spring season as strongly as possible. And what better way than to come back from a 2-goal deficit against former 2-time champions, Lakeland United. On the road, no less. Well, I'm going to say that's the definition of hopeful. I'm not sure if that was Gustavo or if that was Edu that lashed at that ball. It was a good 40 yards out. Would have been something extraordinarily special to beat O'Loughlin from that distance. It didn't. Flew over the crossbar. Not troubling the Chargers goalkeeper at all. You can see the long shadows now starting to draw out over the field. The sun is finally and mercifully on its way down, which will hopefully lead to larger, well, it will lead to larger patches of shadow, because that's how the sun and shadows work. And that in turn should provide a little cover for the players. I'd imagine that was a really tough first half. Lakeland in particular pressing really well. Now ball down the right-hand side. Cut back, drilled in. O'Loughlin gathering that up very easily. Got the best ball in This is a shame because the right back had time to set himself and deliver something. Unable to put anything of quality into the box now, and now the Chargers are in possession. Can they spread the ball? Well, they try to, but instead they turn it over. It's the aforementioned Asuka now trying to create space for himself, not able to do so on this occasion. So as those shadows start to draw out, as we can see now they are on almost half the field, it should provide some cover for the players. So I was mentioning that first half, it's Ryu cutting down the right-hand side, wins a corner for Lakeland. That first half, Lakeland, oh, actually he doesn't, like he had, but the referee suggesting that the ball had brushed off Ryu on the way out, so it's a goal kick instead. Lakeland pressed so well and so high in that first half, you have to imagine that they were absolutely gassed at half-time and glad of the 15-minute break. Both teams will be glad of those long shadows here as this match draws on. This is good from the Chargers. This is more positive. It's a better start. They've had more possession on the ball and earned themselves a free kick here in the process. Nice work from Gil. Venezuelan dropping his shoulder, cutting and twisting, making his way into space. He was impeded to such a degree that all the work he'd done didn't benefit him at all, and the referee decided, you know, you were held up just enough to earn yourself a free kick, and now he's given another free kick. Little bit brutal from Lakeland. It was the arm across the face. Nothing wrong with the foot skill. Nice work from Yuri. Dispossessed the Chargers, but an arm came out. Down went the Chargers player. And off went the whistle. So now we have a free kick. I think this is a little too far out to be truly dangerous. You never know what these players can conjure up. As I said, with the Lakeland free kick in the first half, just get it on frame. If you're not going to score, get it on frame and give your teammates that are crashing the goal something to chase in. Give them scraps to work off. I have no comment. Disappointing. Let's just say, let's categorise it as disappointing. And now Lakeland looking to break down the right-hand side. Oh, may still have an opportunity. Overran it. And that's my first instance of realising that I didn't call out Leonardo Jean's name the entire first half. And he almost had an opportunity there to see his name in lights here early in the second half. Good work. Muscled off his defender. Really good work there from O'Loughlin in the Chargers goal. I mean, he really... there was an opportunity there for him to get clattered and get clattered hard, and I think showed just enough courage in that instance. Not enough to get hurt, but enough to put deflection on the ball and make it where John couldn't get clean contact and ended up running the ball out in the process. Would have expected a little bit more from Lakeland in that situation. They've been so dangerous when they've gotten in behind the Chargers' defence. Now the Chargers have numbers. All of a sudden it's 4, excuse me. Nice ball to the back post. Can someone pick up scraps? They can't. Good work from Lakeland. Really good work from Lakeland, actually. Under pressure and defence, did a nice job of managing the ball out. Now looking to switch it from right to left. Actually looking to tuck back to the right. No, can't quite make their mind up. Said Gustavo decides to roll it back. Seeing flashes here from the Chargers. I think what we're seeing is a little bit of a change in attitude. I think early in the game, in that first half, they were trying to batten down the hatches and try to catch Lakeland on the counter. Lakeland were, quite frankly, too good for them. Half chance here, perhaps. Good work from O'Loughlin. Nice work from Pedro. Set up the play. The shot came in, and O'Loughlin was equal to it. But as I was saying, it seemed to me like the Chargers were sitting back, inviting pressure and looking to try to catch the Swans on the counter. And Lakeland were just too good for them. They were patient. They found those spaces in behind the fullbacks in particular. And clearly, I like seeing that. I like seeing Edu remonstrating to the referee as he's holding off a Chargers player. It's like, look, I'm good enough to do this. I can hold this player off, but I shouldn't have to. He's pulling on me, and referee, do your job, please. And ultimately, the referee did. This second half, there does seem to be a bit of a sea change with the Chargers. They are committing men forward more quickly and en masse. And they need to. They're 2-0 down in the final game of the season for them. No guts, no glory at this point. That, though, should create opportunities for Lakeland to be able to get in behind the Chargers' defence. And we'll see whether or not the Chargers are able to make hay, or whether the Swans are going to exploit those additional spaces that may be left by the Chargers committing more players to offence. It looks like we have a sub coming here. Saw evidence of one of the Chargers team handing a slip of paper to the referee, or probably the fourth official, excuse me, which typically means a sub is on their way, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if we can give you that substitution as soon as it happens. Lakeland trying to attack down the right hand side. It's Asuka putting the ball back, looks to spin and try and beat his man, but really good defending from the Chargers. Asuka frustrated with himself, but you can't win them all. You've had a really good game so far, young man, and every now and then a defender's going to have your number. So Lakeland will be delighted with this 2-goal lead. They haven't actually won a match in the last 3, had a bit of a slump. Chargers actually haven't won a game in 5, so again, not only will they be anxious to finish their season on a high, that was a good look. Really good look from Gustavo. Quick feet and slipping a ball through the heart of the Chargers' defence, but Lakeland not able to make the most of it. And not only will the Chargers be anxious not to finish their season on a low point, but really want to try and snap this horrible streak they're in, this slump they're in of not having won in 5. Last time these two teams met, it was an all goose egg affair. 0-0 back on April the 1st at the Countryside Sportsplex in Clearwater. Chargers looking to have an opportunity there, getting in behind, but the linesman did a good job, raised his flag nice and early. So at least it was a shot on target, which I think I'm right in saying is, well, does it count? Does it count when it's offside? If it doesn't count when it's offside, then I think that's actually the second similar shot that the Chargers have taken in this half, having not put a shot on frame at all in the first half, other than the penalty, of course. From open play, no shots on target. They've now had 2 shots on target in this half, both of them no infringements, offsides, ball back by the officials, but this is positive for the Chargers. Suka, no, it's not Asuka, excuse me. Suka's tucked inside. Every time I see activity down the left wing, I immediately think it's Asuka. Nice patient play down the left-hand side, though. Now switching the ball to the right. Edu looks to tuck the ball back inside. Oh, it looked like that was going to develop into something special. Nice flick back from Edu. Not the easiest thing to do when your momentum's taking you in the opposite direction. Beautifully cushioned ball back to a teammate. Exciting game at this point. It's poised so nicely. Lakeland is still on top, and if they get that 3rd goal, oh, that's probably game over. But the Chargers very much in this. You can see them scoring, on the counter as heavily as they're committing numbers forward. It's gone from being unlikely to being quite probable. Number 39 joins the game for the Chargers. I don't know who went off. We'll try and confirm that for you here in a moment. And you're not going to believe it, but unfortunately I don't have numbers associated with subs for the Chargers. So as much as I was trying to put names to numbers, it's going to become increasingly more difficult now, but I can tell you at least that number 39 for the Chargers has joined the fray. So in that replay, we lost the free kick. Now we are seeing the free kick. That was kind of a soft one. That's certainly what Gustavo thought. Chargers player, a hand on his back, went down quite easily. The referee decided there was enough for a free kick. Again, a little too far out for it to be immediately dangerous. And if the Chargers are smart with this kick, they could perhaps put it into a dangerous area. do something with the second ball. I think it's Gill that stood over it. I mean, I like the ambition. How many of those free kicks have we seen from both teams now where the end result has been the same? You know, these young men are learning their trade. None of them are Ronaldo at this point, which makes scoring from that distance even more unlikely. So I don't hate the fact that they're trying to do something special. But from those kinds of distances, they also need to be thinking smart and thinking high percentage as well. Drop that ball over the defensive line, you put it into an area that's problematic for a goalkeeper where they don't want to come, and where if a striker can get a touch, something's on frame, that might be the better option. Not seeing much of that. We're seeing these hopeful shots from distance. And as of yet, none are troubling the goalkeeper. The only one really of any note was the one we saw from, I think it was Rock, the Lakeland, the one that flashed over the top left corner. That was significantly closer though. Good work from Lakeland. Under a little bit of pressure now. Again, look at how many numbers the Chargers are committing forward. Only 3 men at the back. Got 4, essentially forming a line and almost getting on the end of this. Good grief, that ball bounced past 3 Chargers players, and if any one of them could have made a meaningful connection, Chargers may have had their opening goal of the evening. And I'm liking this. I'm liking this commitment that the Chargers have now to offense. Pushing numbers forward. Really asking questions of the Swans' defense. You should wonder whether or not they shouldn't have done this from the start. Coming back from 2 goals down against a team that are clearly better than you, that's a challenge. I mean, that is a significant challenge. You know what? The second half, the Chargers have shown that they're up to it. I would not discount them getting back in this game. Nice interception, though, from Lakeland. Good work through the middle of the park. It's all flicks and tricks at this point, and it may lead to an opportunity. Oh, good grief. I thought Asuka was going to get his name on the score sheet, which would have been nothing less than he deserved. What marvellous football, though, from the Swans. It was champagne stuff here. Flicks and back heels and movement in abundance. Unfortunately, now that Asuka not able to put the cherry on the icing on the cake. Had he lashed that into the roof of the net, that would have been no more than his performance this evening deserved. Unfortunately, a little wayward, the Japanese forward. The score remains 2-0. Bit of a warning, though, to the Chargers. Hey, we're Lakeland United, remember? We have this in our arsenal. Regardless, I think the Chargers need to continue to throw caution to the wind, continue playing as they are. As they get 1 goal, it suddenly gets awfully nervy. It's about to suggest that it's going to make Lakeland United start sweating if the Chargers were to score, but I think they've been doing that already this evening. When the temperature's at 82, 83 degrees, you're going to sweat when you're playing soccer. Referee blowing in favour of the Chargers. Didn't look like there was much in that. A hustle and bustle both ways. But the referee deciding the Chargers coming off worse, giving them a free kick in the process. Nice ball, nice header as well. I don't know if he was trying to head toward goal or if that was an effort to direct the ball across goal to a teammate. That's certainly what he should be trying to do, in which case it didn't come off, which is a shame. There were 2 Chargers strikers waiting, just lurking in the centre of the box. I don't want to make it sound like I'm willing a Chargers goal here. I have no dog in the fight, but I am just really happy that the Chargers have come out this second half and really made a game of it. You know, with it being their last game of the spring season, You want to at least see them give a good account of themselves, regardless of whether they score, regardless of whether they come out on the winning side. And they've certainly looked much brighter in this second half, so more power to them. Here they go again. Now they're looking to build down the left-hand side. Excellent run. If that's Ayres.
I remember early on, so I never really looked at it.
A full-on gallop from one defensive box to the other. Good hustle here as well from the Chargers. Could be another free kick if they lose possession. They do. The referee has decided it's the throw. Or perhaps he was playing advantage for the Chargers there and might call the play back, but no, he's decided it's the throw-in for the Swans. Great work again from the Chargers. Winning possession back high. Once again, that final ball just eludes them. And that, as I mentioned in the first half, that really has been the challenge for them this entire game. That final ball, that final decision, that final execution, just not there. And that's okay. These are young men learning their craft. This is a bridge league. None of these guys are pro yet. They all aspire to be. But in order to get there, these are the channels you need to go through. This is where you learn your trade. And so you wouldn't expect it to be perfect at this level. You're not looking for perfection, you're looking for progress. And I'm sure the Chargers are going to watch this tape back and have questions for themselves about what could we have done better there. What decision might we have made there that would have led to a higher percentage opportunity? In the meantime, though, I appreciate their grit and their verve and making a game of this. Lakeland United, they have something to say about it. Good ball in from Ryu. Looking to create an opportunity of their own. Trying to thread the eye of the needle there. And Pedro. It was always going to be a big ask of Ryu, who wasn't able to get on the end of it. And a positive Lakeland move peters out to nothing. Well, I believe these games at the UPSL level are free admission. But they really should go back and charge people after the fact for the goal we saw from Yuri in the first 5 minutes. I'm sure we'll get to see that again at the end of the match, but commentated on NASA and USL matches, and had I seen that goal in either of those levels, I would have been impressed. It was a remarkable finish. That alone would be worth the admission fee, but again, as there is no admission fee, well, you wouldn't be at a place charging one for it. Beyond that, the quality of the game in general has been pretty good. Lakeland certainly have been the superior of the two teams, as the scoreline suggests. Get a breakaway now here. Good work from the Chargers. And again, going to break down the Lakeland play, and then they actually do one better on this occasion, winning possession in Lakeland's half. But excellent recovery from Lakeland. And getting the ball up again. You have to think at this point it's perhaps a little tiredness setting in. We've only seen the one substitution so far. That came from the Chargers just a few minutes ago. And as we're now approaching 69th minute, I'm surprised not to see more subs. I would anticipate seeing some movement on the bench, probably both benches. And we can see subs warming up here in shot. But as I was saying, the quality has been good overall. Lakeland's certainly been the better of the two teams, but Chargers definitely made a fist of it in the second half here. Overall, highly enjoyable. Two good goals. As I mentioned, the first one a thing of beauty, the second one a great team effort. Really leveraging the skills of Neda Asuka. Blistering pace he has. Chargers having an opportunity to get on the score sheet themselves with a late penalty kick. The end of the first half. Great goalkeeping from Enrique though, ensuring that Swans hold on to that clean sheet, at least for the time being. But the Chargers themselves have had several very positive looks on goal, particularly in this second half, and now they're on the attack again down the right hand side. Looking to try and cut back into the box. Bit of a mismatch in size. Jal Almeida comfortably cleaning up at the back. And then the Chargers intercept once more. Again, really like this high press we're seeing. Good numbers from the Chargers. Going to make it difficult for the Swans to build out the back. You know what? The Swans always seem to find a way, and invariably it involves pace, and we're seeing it again here. Nice ball in behind the defence. Good work from Lakeland, but he can't get to it. What a tidy finish from Leonardo Jean. Wonderful build-up as well. Props go to Rosito, who I hadn't noticed his steps onto the field. I mentioned we hadn't seen subs. Evidently, Lakeland had made a sub. And Rosito, with fresh legs and an abundance of pace, wonderful job carrying the ball, slides it in. Leonardo Jean, and even though it looked like Lakeland had done a really good job of coming out quickly and closing the angles, the deftest of touches saw the ball diverted past him and into the back of the net, extending Lakeland United's lead to 3-0. Well, in the same way that Asuka really was at the hub of their second goal, despite the fact it was dispatched by Ryo, it was all about Asuka. Look at this from Rosito. Second top goal scorer, and now he's getting in the assist column. Again, pace to burn, nice ball in behind the defence, catches them flat-footed. A really deft touch from Jean. Not bad from O'Glocken. I thought he'd done enough, came out, narrowed the angles, dropped quickly. Thought he was going to get something on it, but the Brazilian just slotting that ball past Chargers goalkeeper. Give the Swans their third goal of the night. Taking a quick water break here. Giving the team an opportunity, or both teams an opportunity to get fluids on board, but probably also some coaching wisdom as well. Not sure there's too much more that Ryan Seidel can say to his Chargers. I imagine if he asked them to attack en masse, push up higher, be more courageous, try and get in those areas that are dangerous, press high, so that Lakeland aren't able to build out the back quite as easily. They've done all of that. Unfortunately, they have nothing to show for it. And then Lakeland have the ability to do what we just saw, spring quickly, whether it's Asuka or Rosito. I feel a little sad for the Chargers. They really have tried to make a game of it here in the second half. Lakeland are another level, though. I mean, there's no getting away from that. Technical ability, discipline with their shape, their pace down both flanks, and also their decision-making. You know, one of the things that we criticised the Chargers for all evening is that final ball, that final decision, being able to execute at the last. And that's something that Lakeland have done. Not always. They've had a few looks at goal themselves where you really would have expected them to score. The chance has gone begging now. Rosito's in behind the defence himself. Can he finish? He decides to cut the ball back. He might look to be the assist man again, or he's going to go for frame. And he hits the frame and the back of the net, subsequently registering Lakeland United's fourth of the night. That's hard on the Chargers, but you've got to appreciate the skill that Rosito demonstrated there. Wondering why the young man started on the bench now. As I mentioned earlier, he was joint top goal scorer with 2 goals before this game. And since he's been on the field, he's created an assist and has scored a wonderful goal of his own. Wow, he put that ball in just about the only place it would go. The only area that the O'Glocken and the defenders didn't have covered. And that really makes my point for me. I was just in the process of wrapping up that thought, suggesting that Lakeland know what to do with the final ball. They know how to make the most of the opportunities that come their way. They haven't taken all of them tonight, but they have been incisive more often than not, certainly more often than the Chargers, as the scoreboard would show. And there's another example of it. In behind the defence, still with work to do, using a teammate to draw defenders away and create that little bit of space that was needed for the shot, and then being clinical in the finish. There's no denying that Lakeland United are going to deserve this victory this evening. 4-0 presently. About 17 minutes still to go. Well, that quick 1-2 sucker punch. It's going to be hard for the Chargers to take. You've got to try and stay in this game. They've got to try and remain competitive and see if they can at least get a goal themselves to have something to show for all of their work. Again, particularly in the second half. Good attack from Lakeland there. Nice build down the right-hand side. I was thinking I would have to break away from my thought then to once again scream into the microphone as the Swans lash another goal into the back of the net. But that didn't come off. And instead, I'm able to say that I would not hate seeing the Chargers score. They have worked really hard this second half and deserve something for their efforts. But I also think Lakeland have been incredible this evening, and you can't begrudge them their clean sheet. I mean, they've been good in all areas of the field. Been disciplined at the back. They've done great with possession in the middle of the field. They've sprung their wingers at the right time, and they've been clinical in front of goal. And also Enrique in the Swans goal, when he was asked to step up and save a penalty kick, that's exactly what he did. It's been a near perfect performance from Lakeland United. Chargers caught them on a good night, on a bad night for the Chargers. Wondering if that's Enrique in goal still. From this distance, it didn't look like him. Asuka now building down the left-hand side. Yeah, excuse me, that wasn't Asuka. Again, my apologies. Every time I see that left wing, I imagine it's going to be Asuka. It's actually number 2, and I don't have a name associated with number 2 on the roster sheet here, so I do apologise to that young man. He's been out there the entire game. He's had an industrious match, and I couldn't tell you who he is. Oh, we have 2 subs coming in now. We have number 26, Kota, and number 50. And I apologise again, I don't have a name assigned to that number, but number 50. Welcome to the fray. Looks like maybe number 2 stepped out. I just love the irony of that. We've lost a player for whom I have no name, and we've had a player join us for whom I have no name. Such is the life of commentating.
Yeah, well, Brazil is...
Do you know that number 26, Kota, has joined the fray, though?
No, what they do is they...
See what he has to contribute to proceedings. Right now, not a whole lot, because the Chargers are in possession. Moving the ball down the right-hand side. Unable to maintain possession, though. Good work from Lakeland, hustling to win the ball back. Whew, that snuck through and it comes out to the dangerous Rosito. He might go on one of his mazy runs again. No, this time instead he slides it into a teammate, to Ryu. Oh, excellent work from Lakeland. Could there be a shot from distance? There is, and it's from number 50, and he may be grateful that I don't know his name at this point, because that was high and hopeful. Nice work there, and it stemmed from Rosito, who you can tell the Chargers are nervous every time he's on the ball, and I would be too. Never quite sure what he's going to do. It appears he can come out either side, left foot, right foot. He's got pace to burn. Even though he's very comfortable on the ball, he's not greedy, so he can bring teammates into the game very readily, which makes him a pretty all-round threat. The Chargers very well aware of that after his assist for the 3rd goal, and then his goal put the Swans 4-0 up. Swans in possession again. It's funny, isn't it? When you're 4-0 up, you see an increase in the number of outside of the foot passes. You have to love the Brazilians. This is becoming exhibition stuff, but the Chargers having no part of that. Nice through ball. And we may see a free kick on the edge of the box. I don't know if there was enough contact there. The referee deciding there wasn't, and that Gill went down a little too easily. Super ball, though, to split Swan's defence. Enabling Gill to run onto it without breaking his stride, but unfortunately, for him at least, fortunately for Lakeland, it was good covering the defence, and the defender was his equal in terms of pace. Gill not able to get away, not able to find the space to get the ball out of his body and get a shot on frame. Nicely handled by Lakeland defender. Free kick in favour of the Chargers. Decides to take it quickly. The referee's not having any of that. Decides either the ball was moving or it wasn't in the right spot. Either way, it's going to be retaken, which gives Lakeland an opportunity to get back in shape. Everyone back in their appropriate positions, making sure they're not going to get caught so easily on the counter. Well, as we head into the last 10 minutes, this game has ceased to be a contest. I think only the bravest Chargers fan would suggest that there's any way back for them at this point. But they do continue to look dangerous, pressing the Lakeland defence whenever they're able. That's a risky proposition, though, as we've seen. Give Lakeland an inch and they absolutely take a mile, and at the end of it they stick the ball in the back of your net. So they may not be done yet this evening. Nice ball out to the dangerous Rosito. Looks to square up his man, looks to try and find an opportunity to shoot! Oh! I'm not sure if he was looking to flick the ball in with the outside of his his left foot there, or if he was trying to put it on a plate for one of his teammates, two of whom were crashing the box. Either way, hit a defender on the way through, and there you go, you see, clips a defender on the way through. Actually, good defending. He didn't really clip a defender. That was good last-ditch defending from the Chargers, making sure that whatever that was, flick on goal or attempted pass, and ultimately fizzled out. Lakeland now building patiently through the middle and down the right. We'll play this one. Into our last 10 minutes of the match. Do the Chargers have anything left? Are they able to dig that little bit deeper, create that goal scoring opportunity that would give them something to take back to Clearwater with them? Do Lakeland have another goal in them? They're able to put all of this dominance, this possession, chances they've created, manifest a fifth soul-crushing goal. Good work here down the left-hand side. I do like how Lakeland moved the ball around, transitioning from one side of the field to the other. Lovely cutback. Disappointing ball into the box, though. That's going to play out on the far side. Been a great contest, very entertaining game. Really enjoyed the heart that the Chargers have displayed again, particularly in the second half. But boy, this Lakeland team, they are a joy to watch. That makes you wonder why they're only 6th in the table. They do have a handful of games to catch up after this match tonight. They have another 2 games still to play, so there's points still on the board for them. I haven't seen too much of UPSL this season, but I can't imagine there are too many teams that are that much better than Lakeland United, at least when they're on song. Maybe I'm just catching them on a good night. Either way, I'm delighted I was able to, because at times this has been an exhibition. I'm going to break away now, try and create something. Good patience from Pedro. The Chargers thought perhaps they'd have an opportunity to break away. The referee decided, I think, a handball. There wasn't, yeah, it was a handball. There was no foul there. No contact was made even, but as the ball pinged up, rather unfortunately, clipped a Charger's arm. It would have been away too. 2 men in behind the defence. Rosito again, good grief. His pace really is frightening. Well, that's the exhibition stuff I was talking about, but sometimes exhibition bleeds into showboating. And that typically doesn't manifest into anything particularly practical. So a little example of that there with the back heel. You can't hate it though, can you? I mean, you want to see this. You want to see the one touch. You want to see the flicks and the outside of the foot. You want to see the back heels, and you certainly want to see more of goals like the one we treated to by Yuri Vasconcelos early in this match. And that's what Lakeland United have given us. Great display. I can imagine their coach, Eric Latte, will be absolutely delighted with his team's performance this evening. And they're breaking away again here behind the defence, and it's another goal. It's number 5. The knife has been turned. Good finish from Mathios, number 8. That came out of nowhere. Looked to all intents and purposes like the Chargers had things locked down. Everything was in front of them. All of a sudden the ball was behind them. Bang, number 5. Here we go, it's Rosito once more. Look at that play from Rosito. He is a special player. I was waxing lyrical about Asuka throughout the entirety of the first half. I have to say, second half, this is Rosito's. 2 assists and a goal. Not too shabby, huh, for a sub that comes on with 20 minutes to go. Good work. Nice tackle. I saw something online today about Reyna's performance for Dortmund. Now he came on as a sub late in the match, and I think scored 1 or 2 goals, or certainly had a hand in a couple of goals. Folks were pointing out just how devastating he was coming off the bench so late in the game. This is what we're seeing from Rosito, and once again, excellent pace, cuts the ball back. Could have had number 6. Could have had number 6. Jean was just not on his toes there. Excuse me, if it was Jean, I apologise. I may have actually attributed that to the wrong player. That was number 50, of course, for whom we have no name. Apologies, Jean. When you're on the bench, it's difficult for you to finish the play. Okay, great work from Rosito. Oh, excellent work here from the Chargers, but the referee's decided there's a foul there. It just looked like a Lakeland player was lingering on the ball a little too long. Didn't finish his lunch, and Chargers trying to take advantage of the opportunity that presented itself there. Not according to the ref there. Again, I don't see much in that. It was Edu that was pulled to the ground. You know, you shouldn't always make determinations based on size, but he's a big boy. I mean, it should take something to get him on the ground. I don't know that there was enough contact there for him to go down as he did. Lucky boy, though, lucky boy. There'd have been 2 Chargers players breaking away against one Lakeland defender. That could have been dicey. The referee came to their rescue there. Okay, so there's less than 3 minutes left, and I'm going to make a prediction. I think we might see another little bit of magic from Rosito. I've been so impressed with him this half. I don't think it's inconceivable that he could pop up with another assist or maybe even a goal. Chargers, well, they've had the wind entirely taken out of their sails in the last 20 minutes or so. And we've seen 3 goals in what was essentially a 13-14 minute blitz from the Swans. And all of the fight just seems to have gone out of the Chargers. Understandably, I mean, that's not a criticism. At this point, they are well beaten. Any verve, any spunk that they showed early in that second half, well, spark has been extinguished, and then some. That was a little wayward. The Lakeland goalkeeper. Again, not sure if it's Enrique. You don't have the camera on him that much. At a glance, it didn't look like it was him, and I thought perhaps they'd made a goalkeeper sub at half-time. Obviously, you remember Enrique injured in that second penalty save, or the second save on the penalty. Whoever that is in goal, that was a good collection, and they're releasing Rosito again. And what did I say? Plays the ball through. He may get on the end of this if we can cut it back. He does. Great feet. It really is an outstanding player. Just didn't quite fall for him, but it took two defenders. I mean, every time he gets the ball, defenders look terrified, and understandably. Could have had his assist there, could have had another goal. Gosh, that would have been nice, wouldn't it? You hear about commentators' curse. Imagine if I called it. I would have been dining off that for weeks. But it remains just the 5-0. Oh, sloppy from Lakeland, and that's going to lead to a Chargers corner. Oh, this might be the opportunity. We are now at the 90-minute point. We are in time added on by the referee. This might be the Chargers' last sight on the Swans' goal. Can they get themselves what is obviously purely a consolation goal at this point, but something to take home with them, something to represent their efforts, and they have worked hard, and they have given a lot of effort to this game. Lakeland are going to be desperate to keep the clean sheet, and you can't begrudge them it. Chargers will be anxious to get on the score sheet, and you wouldn't hate to see it. This might be the Chargers' last opportunity. It could well be the last sequence of the game. Needs a good corner. Gets a pretty good corner. Gets a good header. Gets a great save. Wow, every man did his job there. Wonderful corner. Excellent header. I mean, that's what they teach you in heading school, if there is such a thing. Down and away from the goalkeeper. Look at that save. Full stretch. Palmed away, giving the Chargers another corner. This one not as good of a corner, not connected with as cleanly, a little bit clumsy. I think there was an offside in it too. Or for a second the referee had blown his whistle for full time, but there was some infringement. Either way, Swans back in possession. That could be all she wrote. Surely got to be mere moments now from the end of this match. I don't remember there being a lot of stoppage in this second half. We had the lengthy stoppage at the end of the first half with the Enrique injury. This game must be done and dusted more or less. Nice crossfield ball. Oh, saucy goalkeeping. Do Lakeland have one more attack in them? Do they have a sixth goal in them? They're piling forwards. They're not done yet. It's a good delivery though, and instead we see good defending. Great work from the Chargers, and that will lead to a Swans corner. Well, I thought this game might be over a minute and a half ago. And yet here we continue. Corner at one end. Two corners, in fact, at one end. Now we have a corner at the other. All in stoppage time. Chargers came very, very close to registering a goal in their corner sequence. Can Lakeland go one better and register a goal in theirs? Not like that, they can't. Rosito, you had a fantastic half. Not even a half. 25 minutes. That wasn't your finest moment, but who cares? Because Lakeland United run out winners comprehensively. 5-0 over Clearwater Chargers in the UPSL Florida West Division. The Chargers' last game of the season being a disappointing and heavy defeat. Lakeland with still 2 games to go. Aspirations of making playoffs. Boy, if they continue to play like this, Who would bet against them? This was exhibition stuff. Wonderful opening goal in the first 5 minutes from Yuri. On 20 minutes, Ryu waded in after some fantastic work down the left-hand side from Asuka. In the 70th minute, Rosito bursting through the heart of the Chargers defence, setting up John for Rosito, got on the score sheet himself just 3 minutes later. And then in the 85th minute, Atheo decided he'd get in on the act, registering. Our production team, why are you doing this to me? Why are you showing me that goal again? You know I have to stop talking and just admire it. Goodness gracious. Well, you know what? Let's talk you through the goals as they get shown over again. So this is the goal from Ryu. Again, wonderful work from Asuka down the left-hand side. Ryu just had to connect with it. Didn't know much about it, but he did connect with it. And that was 2-0. And it became the Rosito show. As I mentioned earlier, bursting through the heart of the Chargers field here, slotting the ball in for Jean. The deftest of touches beats the on-rushing O'Loughlin, and we have 3-0. 3 minutes later, Rosito turns from assist merchant into goal scorer. Receiving the ball out wide on the right-hand side. Still a ton to do. Oh, actually, we've gone to the Matteo goal. We missed the Rosito goal altogether, but okay. It's hard. It's hard to stay on top of all the goals when there are 5 to cover, but they were all quality. There really wasn't a scrappy one among them. As I mentioned, the Ryu goal, he didn't know too much about it, but he was Johnny on the spot, did exactly what he needed to do as a forward, crashing the box and connecting with that Asuka pass. Every goal, though, a peach. Great performances, in particular from Asuka, from Ryu, and from Rosito. Really wonderful team performance from Lakeland United. The Swans run out winners, 5-0 over the Clearwater Chargers. I've been your commentator, Mark Turner. Thanks for joining us for this UPSL Florida West Division contest. Look forward to seeing you at the next one. Night.